Yeah, and the other thing is with this Night Stalker pick, it also takes away the potential for Mizu to just stay in the fog right off to the side. As soon as you pop that Dark Ascension, essentially the entire battlefield is revealed to you in any kind of engagement. So you're not going to have quite as much of a surprise factor. Maybe it might be a Night Stalker that goes into something like an urn, just so that you're able to get that ticking onto the Earthshaker. You don't need to finish up the full agony, the full Spirit Vessel, just to prevent that extra layer of initiation. It might mean that, your Wraith King or whichever hero they end up going as their mid laner is able to commit just that little bit further.
And I like it as well because we saw the Clockwork Flare, like we spoke about it a little bit in game one, and how like leveling it up gives you a little bit more value and the vision it can provide. Now Spawn.496 have gone for a hero to enable their own vision. And like you said, Mizu had an exceptional game one, and he's set up for another pretty good game. I mean, he's going to have a good lane overall if it's anything like what we saw in game one. So just having a hero that can really be a big issue to the Earthshaker, I think is really key here.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of what hero they can go. Like, the Clockwork is decent for vision, right? But my main concern for Nigma Galaxy right now is this Grimstroke. It is imperative that you get the Soulbind off onto the Night Stalker just to lock him in place, basically. Because as soon as he pops that Dark Ascension, or hell, even if it's just at nighttime, he just wants to be running at the backlines. And if you're able to slow him down by pairing him together with something slow, whether it be the Wraith King or the Ogre Magi, then you've done a lot of your job in being able to prevent the backlines from having a lot of the harass coming in onto them. So the question is, who's going to get found out first? And right now, as soon as that Dark Ascension's popped, the vision advantage does favor 496.
How are you feeling about the PA getting picked up? I know we've seen this hero rise in popularity a little bit over the past couple of tournaments, especially in the qualifiers. We saw it a decent amount, but are you a fan of it at the moment?
I don't hate it. I mean, it's one of those position ones that, again, you're not popping everything to jump onto a Wraith King, right? Like, you can very easily take him out twice in quick succession. So the other thing is Night Stalker, of course, does want to be constantly spamming out his Void in the lane, and that just means if you buy just a simple magic stick, you're always going to be healthy enough to be able to fire that dagger off. It means that you're not going to be taking too much harass in the laning stage, although the Clockwork, I feel like Paulson was doing a really good job in game number one and preventing that happening from a melee hero in the Kunkka anyway.
We are looking for both the position twos from either team. Silurns along with Alacrities. Always favorable when you have this 24th pick, so Spawn.496 gonna have to keep in mind at least a hero that can play into a bit more of a rougher matchup.
And that's twice now that they actually had the last pick, so I believe, I forget who had the choice this time around, but for whatever reason, 496 aren't valuing the second pick quite as much. I feel like it is really important towards the start of these tournaments, just as the meta is kind of not completely understood. And it feels weird to say because we've been on this current patch for just over a month now. But I feel like you always want to have that flexibility to be able to respond to what another team is doing so that you don't get last pick meepoed like we saw in game number one. But they're going to, try and dissuade that with going with a good spread of magic and physical damage, and now a good spread of single target and AoE as well with the Leshrac. So I like this pick overall. They've gotten rid of a lot of its big counters as well with the Invoker, which also doubles up for the fact that you would have probably wanted to give the Alacrity over to the Phantom Assassin. And then the Lina just feels like a little bit of an awkward lane with the Lesh. So, yep, I'm liking it so far from 496.
All right, what do you feel like they need here? Is there any flaws in the draft from Nigma Galaxy that need to be covered with the Alacrity hero?
I mean, they've got backline close with a Night Stalker. It's not instant, right? So my just big thing is, how effective is it going to be to go something that you want to close in onto their backline? Right now, they're lacking a significant amount of tower push. That's my big thing for them. But what really can you do into a Leshrac? TA, it's very greedy. Yes, the minus armor synergizes with a PA, which is kind of nice, but Leshrac will do really well against you in lane with the Diabolic Edict and the Pulse Nova. And something like the I was about to say the Dragon Knight doesn't do great either, but at least the Shadow Fiend, you could look to spam out those waves, you could trade farm with Zillion, and you have a decent time in being able to take these towers. Of course, the presence of the Dark Lord as well just buffs up the Phantom Assassin in that regard.
So I've been seeing Shadow Fiend in some of the streamers pubs as of late. They've been playing in the safe lane, like a really interesting build where you just go 1 point raise and maxing out everything else. The Necromastery, along with the presence of the Dark Lord, and putting a lot of emphasis in stats too. This is a hero that can really rack up the damage, but not a route that I was thinking they were going to go down. They're pretty single target on Nigma.SEA with the PA, the Shadow Fiend, Clockwork as well to mention. I'm a big fan of Spawn.496 draft. I think you've got a lot here in regards to tower taking potential and mixing damage. Maybe their only concerns at the moment is I think a lot of their jump is going to come off the back of red on the Night Stalker, but I think he's going to have a good lane. Like, you're against the PA Clockwork. I think it might be better having like honestly, do you argue it's Yokam actually on the Clockwork? So I like that a lot more. I thought they were going to just pair, because Clockwork Earthshaker sounds like a really weird lane. That sounds like a free farming lane for Ghost. So I'm not a huge fan of the supports that they have for Nigma.SEA, because they were kind of like, okay, what do we do? How do we set this up? So that's kind of my concern for them at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the concerns, the only big ones that I see, for 496 with their overall draft is you can sort of just run away from them. Like, there's nothing really to try and hold people in place. Like, you know, you've got the Cogs, you've got the Fisher, you've got Soulbind on Nigma.SEA. And also, they have a little bit of trouble running away themselves if there's any kind of engagement put onto them. Basically, the only hero that can do that pretty easily is the Night Stalker, just by using that Dark Ascension. I'm still somewhat optimistic about 496's draft. I think the way that they'll need to play it, I think Alacrity still needs to have a very good game overall, and I feel like he needs to use the Requiem of Souls. It's hard, right? Because in the early game, you are the damage dealer for your team. Like, everything is on the back of Alacrity with a little bit given over to Paulson. But outside of that, the damage is not going to be coming, especially if you've got this PA going into the Battle Fury. She needs to farm. Like, yes, you could join into a team fight and do a little bit of damage, but for the first 20 minutes, let's say, it's going to be heavily based around Alacrity. So you're kind of in two minds, where you want to be using the Requiem to save your own backline when the Night Stalker dives, but you need it to deal the damage that you need to win the team fights as well. So I feel like Nigma.SEA are going to play quite a passive game. And if they're able to get to that 20-minute mark without having lost too much, I think they're going to be feeling pretty confident.
So do you think that Alacrity will get away from maybe not going the magic build and snowballing potentially, or getting active early? Because it looks like he's got Dragonlance queued up. So do you like this itemization that we're seeing from the Shadow Fiend?
I do, because the magic damage build doesn't help you take towers, right? It also means that you're going to be a lot tankier, so that you can kind of stand and fight in a few of these earlier engagements. So I definitely feel like this is the right build to go.
And it does seem like, I mean, the Leshrac is going to struggle early against the Razors. This is more than likely we'll see Silone go for like a 2-0-2 build. Whenever you're not against a melee hero, you put a little bit more emphasis on your Lightning Storm, just to help with your harass and your CS potential. But it definitely needs to have the Edict kind of starting to put some more emphasis in it once he hits around, you know, level 5 and so on afterwards.
That's right. Denied.
But I do like, again, though, that they put the Grimstroke with the PA down bot. I was worried that, because I think from either side, like, the Night Stalker's not the strongest laner at all. So if you had PA Clockwork, then I feel like Red would have just gotten so much out of the first 5 minutes. And you don't want that versus Night Stalker. Like, if he gets away with his weakest stage in the game, then it can set him up perfectly for a snowballing effect. And I think we both agree that this game is going to be pretty reliant on Red.
Yeah, entirely. Like, the only way that you're going to get in onto these backlines is because of Red, and I feel like a big part of this game for him is not only nullifying the effect of the supports, but also somewhat dealing with Mizu as well, so that he doesn't have what felt like a free game for him in game number 1. You can see here Mizu just wanting to dodge this lane altogether. Ogre Magi, such a strong hero, I feel, in these days. Ignite is slept on massively by a lot of players. The amount of damage that you can dish out, even as a position 5, is insane.
And this looks like a Veil build, right?
Yep.
This is an incredible Veil game. Snap, Lesh, and even the Night Stalker, I suppose, with the Void. Yes, I mean, if a hero can get that farm, but it just, like another thing we didn't really mention in the draft is that Dire have a little bit more amplification and steroids as well, First Blood for In Your Dream picked up down bottom. Level 2 advantage.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that though. Like
I blame you, T2, it's on your fault.
Right.
I was about to say
the PA isn't like an insane laner. You know, you've
Lacquer's gonna go down mid as well. I got that one. It's all good. It's all good. Still, that's a big kill to find. 1-1-2. It's like a maybe lightning storm catch him out with a split earth. So wasn't expecting that kill as well.
No, definitely not. And well, I think he was looking to maybe try and go steal the bounty rune, but Jokam, he's patrolling around the area, making sure to build up a few stacks for the Shadow Fiend. Obviously, even though stacks not quite as strong as they used to be, it does feel like that's the sort of meta that Nigma Galaxy thrive in.
They're definitely a team that likes to play the macro game. Just as many stacks as possible. You're trying to really ramp up your cores farm as best as you possibly can. Side lanes are taking a lot of damage in your dream. Very low. Do you think about diving?
Nah.
A big creep wave.
Maybe it might have been worth just using the void, not actually right-clicking at all, just to get rid of the healing salve, but it's a pretty short range, so can understand why I didn't do it. Yeah, again, the fact that they were able to... I mean, honestly, the Snapfire dying on the bottom side isn't even the worst. It means that Red was able to get a little bit more of that solo experience, considering they'd used a lot of resources to kill the Snap. Giving up First Blood, never good, but at least what I feel is like your early to mid-game win condition is having his experience secured.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Does seem though like it's a very different game here for Spawn.496. Looks like you've secured Ghost Lane, like you were bringing up earlier. Just the fact that Mizu kind of has to play off the back of the creep, your equilibrium, and just trying to drag the creep wave all the way behind the tower because he can't really go head to head in a matchup like this. So this would definitely prevent the Earthshaker from getting as good of a blink timing as we saw. But even down bot, I mean, Red, he's only got 15 last hits, so you see he's still kind of struggling in that regard.
He's still a little bit ahead of the Earthshaker at least, right? Like, he's had to try so many of these little creep manipulation plays on Mizu. Some have worked out, some haven't. A little bit odd that he's been the one going for it, though, when you've got Jokam here in the lane. Obviously, Clockwork, a very speedy base movement speed, and he's going into the early Tranquil Boots, already finished them up, actually. So he's able to manipulate this quite easily. But in the meantime, Ohio, he's not wasting his time. He's spending it making sure that he's building up a few stacks for his Leshrac as well. So really, it's the race between Alacrity and Zillern to see who is going to be that presence that their team can look to rally around at the, well, let's say the 10 or so minute mark. It's only the 2 points in the diabolic each right now, so nothing really enough to do too much damage to this mid tower, even if Zillern was able to push it in quite heavily.
I think this is the big time though for 496. Like, seeing how much they can get out of the first night time is Red, in fact, is getting brought down as In Your Dream and Policy. In Your Dream's a very high level at the moment, already up to 5. Is lane 27 last hits, 2 kills, is having a really, really solid start to this game.
Yeah, Kami-sama doing a very good job here on the bottom side of the map. One of his signature heroes for sure. Able to pick that one up. He might look to even try and deny a little bit more of that experience away, pulling the hard camp, might even get the stack off into the next wave. And yeah, just making Night Stalker's life even more difficult. Now that he's level 4 though.
Got a bit of a battle going on. Leshrac and Zhao Bonbon. Nice cookie setup. I think the clock was just trying to scout at some jungle stacks and scouting out, trying to prioritize picking up the rune here for the Shadow Fiend.
Zillern is able to claim it, even just feeding the mangoes over his Xiao Bonbon over to his Leshrac. Obviously, we're just wanting to enable him as much as possible. Mizu goes down on the top side, and that's a big win considering you had 2 people rotating down towards this bottom side of the map. You've got the nighttime advantage, really good game sense coming through there from Dream. Actually, he just saw them underneath the ward. It's nothing to do with game sense. I'm talking out my ass right now, but they are able to take away one of these bigger stacks. So Zillern still having a good time.
Higher as well. I mean, you just see min-max to perfection, trying to put the support mid, get a little bit of experience, a little bit of gold in a lane where your position 2's kind of vacated the area.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Doing his best to keep that tower alive as well. I again really want to see Dire start to use his first nighttime as Silen connecting with Red down bot. Phantom Assassin is a hero that cannot farm the jungle to rapid raid, as with him coming up here, I'll get rid of the reincarnation on Ghost. Is a fair way away from the tier 1. So reinforcements coming at a little delayed timing here. The cookie's enough to reposition Ghost to safety, but in your dream, no, not gonna matter. As Mizu killed, getting the level 6, and that sets up for a beautiful Echo Slam as they find a second kill. But Red's now gonna show up to the party. He's got this Dark Ascension ready to rock and roll with the extra damage, but they still gotta be cautious because the Grimstroke combined with the Phantom Assassin is no joke of a combination. But Red, airwalking at the moment, pushing Radiant further and further back.
That's just Mizu again having such a big impact, right? The fact that you were able to get the kill on the Wraith King, plus force everyone that was taking this tier 1 tower to rotate towards the top side, is a big win, right? Like, I thought, okay, they're just going to go the 1-for-1 trade. It's not too big of a deal because at this stage of the game, you know, he's just going to respawn pretty quickly. But they don't even take this tower. And now something like a Clockwork is able to defend it a little bit, but he's just going to get back to safety. Maybe try and make a bit of a play himself alongside Alacrity. Looking to join him up together with the use of that haste rune. He's got his Requiem of Souls available as well, so maybe looking to try and set up here again around Mizu. Make sure that he's able to defend this tower as quickly as possible.
I need the rest of the Dire to connect down bottom as well. Again, they need these early conversions on towers. Gonna catch out Alacrity the moment. Silen's looking to connect as well, but Alacrity's gonna be cautious. He doesn't have time to charge up the Requiem. As a cookie, great position from Snapfire, sweeping on over from the western side. As now they'll surround the Clockwork. Mizu's gonna go for a straight heads up TP, but the stun's ready up and available once again as 496 to bring the whole crew down bottom, and the goons find 3.
That's exactly what they need, and now they can transition that through into the tower. Good presence of mind. I don't know if that was an intended bait or not, because it was quite a clever movement, right? Like, the Clockwork TP's away from the lane. He does it under vision so that they can see him doing it, and then smokes alongside the Shadow Fiend with the haste. You probably wouldn't expect the Clockwork to come all the way back, so maybe it was a case of 496 just being in the right place at the right time, but it's going to work out really nicely for him.
What are we looking for Nigma here on how they can make plays? Is it going to be really off the back of the Clockwork? Because again, it feels like Mizu hasn't had a game. His laning stage was not as sound as what we saw in game 1. So who's going to be the hero here to really enable the playmaking from Nigma Galaxy?
I mean, it's going to have to be the Shadow Fiend, right? Like, again, Alacrity, so much is on his shoulders right now. He's died a couple of times, which is never ideal as a Shadow Fiend. You can really only get away with, I would say, these 2 deaths before like the 15-20 minute mark.
Top lane, they're gonna jump deep on Ogre. Once again, the rotation's starting to flock on out as the Phantom Assassin now stuck behind the tower. You cannot be giving up your life like this on a hero like the PA, someone who, when you can start to fall behind.
At least the mid's pushing in though with the siege creep. Like, this is exactly what Alacrity needs to do. He needs to try and be creating space in this fashion. Or even making the scan come through. Not going to clip onto Zilone, but should still be fine here on Alacrity. You can see though, even with those couple of deaths, he's opened up a tiny little bit of a experience lead over him. I believe he just smoked as it turned into daytime, and they even had the Observer Ward there as well, so they know exactly the fact that they're looking to make this sort of play once more.
It looks like they're setting up for it too.
Yeah, they know that the Dark Ascension was used on the top side, so with Red showing on the lane, they're going to try and make some sort of play through. Xiao Bonbon, good positioning though, gets the double stun off as well, and even makes them think twice about going up onto that high ground. And this isn't exactly where In Your Dream wants to be either, right? Like, you're just a PA. You can't really take this tower all that easily. The Blightstone's only going to be so effective. I feel like without Alacrity there to back you up, this tower's going to stay alive pretty damn easily.
Dire's top tower is
looking to backstab up top. Gonna run straight into Polison first. An aggressive use of the Yule Scepter, however, so Celestia's going to be cautious now without this in the arsenal as they're going to pounce, recognizing the weakness. Silen is penalized for the heavy commitment here, and Well, now this top tower should be open to claim.
I feel like that was just a really good reaction coming through from Nigma Galaxy. They weren't aware of that kill attempt, I don't believe. You also had a really good observer ward down there to spot out any kind of TPs coming through, but it was just that instant reaction coming through from the supports, able to save.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
This time around, like last time, we've got Yokam going into the rocket flare being maxed out. Just the 2 points in the battery assault. Again, I like it because you're up against the snapfire. It's not easy to get that battery assault chained in onto people. So you may as well just look to try and maximize your damage, particularly against the Wraith King, when you can just spam out this rocket flare against these pesky skeletons and prevent a lot of this ghost push from coming into your side of the map.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We're seeing another drums as well in the clockwork. What do you feel like this is able to provide maybe the hero and the team?
It's not quite as good as it was last game, just because with the drums, obviously with the Meepo, it provides a great extra layer of damage potential. This time around, it does feel like the only ones that are really going to be right-clicking by the time he picks it up is himself and the Shadow Fiend. PA's still going to be wanting to farm somewhere.
It's got Alacrity trying to charge up the Requiem. They're a little bit too far away to get mass usage out of it, but Yokam just runs away. Okay. This Clockwork keeps his life, and look at the kill on the Snapfire too. So Spawn.496, unfortunately, a casualty in their regard, and they pop Dark Ascension to no avail.
It's going to be, how long left? About 10 or so seconds, so you'll have a minute of daytime. Let's see if Nigma Galaxy are looking to make a play around that. What have they got coming out to the career? It's just the Mithril Hammer, but Dragon Lance plus Mithril Hammer, it's a good amount of damage. Hell, even the PA realizing this is a big window for them to try and make something happen around this mid lane. Even if it's just taking the tier 1 tower, I feel like you're going to be happy with that as an objective while it's the daytime. They're backing off. A little surprising, to be honest. Feel like you've got this window that you want to be taking advantage of as much as possible. Mizu trying desperately to finish up that Blink Dagger. But this should be a somewhat easy hold, I would say. Not hold, take of the objective.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Now it's just the question of how long do you stay? You know, they've planted up a couple of these observer wards inside the enemy base, as well as a couple of sentries as well. But Yokam just positioning himself towards the top of the stairs, making sure that any kind of smoke attempt that happens, they're going to be the ones that catch it out before Alacrity's Shadow Fiend.
Boom! There it goes!
I mean, we've got a very even game at the moment, and kind of slowing this pace down. 16 kills, 15 minutes in, but who does this game favor at the moment with the status quo? Is Radiant a little bit more happier with the slower pace? Are Dire content that they're going to hit their timing shortly?
The fact that you haven't lost your mid tier 1 tower against a Leshrac, pretty damn significant, especially considering you've got a PA going that Battle Fury.
Oh, Mizu.
This will hurt Mizu though.
Definitely. Great use of the observer ward placed previously.
And also, the thing is, you can't buy back to defend this, right? Like this tower, you have to let it go with Zillone being able to take it. So it's a big win coming through. The rocket flare just revealing him for a second. So the tower is able to hit him. But this should be a pretty easy take for 496.
You were just speaking about the importance of a Leshrac needing to take these early T1 towers, especially mid, and align up that Radiant a little bit more greedy in the regard of having a PA and a Shadow Fiend. So this will open up the map now for the next night time, but Radiant, they've got some item timing starting to flock on for them as well with the Blink and BKB, and a perfect use of the Soulbind combined up with a hook shot. They're all caught out in the river, so Alacrity can charge up the Requiem. They'll blow up Zillone. That's all they'll really get out of it. So a nice pick off, but no more kills that come.
Mizu, they dropped a smoke for him inside the base, so he TP'd in, then used the smoke, and he's looking to try and catch someone out that might still think, okay, we can make a play while this Dark Ascension's up for the next couple of seconds.
Oh, they're gonna... Oh, they see it go straight away. Great rocket flare from Yokam.
Only a couple of seconds left on that smoke, though. Mizu has to be careful with his positioning, and yeah, he's gonna back off.
Radiant have been playing really well this series overall around their vision. Like, you see how they've got the ward mid and on top of the high gun, and they're going to continue to play around this.
is under
They're coming outside the base. They need to follow up with Mizu straight away.
Radiant's courier.
Alacrity's going to look to answer straight on top of Ghost. He's got the reincarnation ready and available, but if they can pop it early, that would be a good start for Nigma. They're unable to do so with some solid armlet toggles. This also drags them out of the pit. How low was Roche? About a quarter health taken care of.
Yeah, they really want to try and prioritize it as much as possible. They wanted to defend their high ground vision as well, but now that that's taken away, they're feeling a little bit more anxious.
Does Mizu just want to drop the ultimate? Snapfire's nearby, really good positioning from the support. And out of the southern side, even Red kind of angling for a way in, but it's
not yet. He needs that ultimate. You know, you need some sort of way to get in onto the backlines again. It's all about revealing the positioning of Mizu. It feels like he's the one that can look to turn this game on its head.
Again, Dark Ascension down for another 40. So how does the Night Stalker really get in the middle of the fight? Ghost is on the Vanguard, trying to lean the charge of the river. Just two hits Paulson, but it's going to look to buy back instantly. But the Aegis already claimed in the hands of Alacrity, but Radiant, they're splitting away from the area. Looking to get back once up to their higher ground. They could potentially take a fight around their control if they force 496 into a choke point, setting up for Mizu's Echo Slam. They're leading once again on top of the Wraith King, trying to deal with the first life here as Alacrity. He's pump faking the Requiem, but after the southern side, it's a dire back for Polison, so they won't have the Grimstroke now completely for this fight.
Nice armlet toggles coming through from Ghost. Again, just not giving Mizu the avenue that he needs to be able to get into this team fight. They had the vision advantage that time around, but still feeling somewhat cautious about wanting to make the extra move to go in. It was a good attempt by Grimstroke to try and rejoin that team fight, because it feels like as soon as they're locked in place, as soon as you restrict their movement just slightly, that's the window that Mizu needs to really make the big plays happen.
I mean, you hate to see it for Polo, having the die back there, but as a team aspect, you love in life. Alacrity finds Aegis, more time to just farm up. Do you feel like this is mainly going to be like a defensive Aegis, or could we see Nigma maybe play a little bit more on the aggressive front here soon?
Maybe just looking to wait for the BKB on the PA. Honestly, wouldn't hate it if you just went all in for the Desolator, just so that, you know, you can go perhaps the Presence or affects buildings, just for that extra little bit of tower taking potential, while you do have that Aegis at your disposal.
I think it has to be said as well, just the complete different build we're seeing from Ghost. Like, he's playing a lot more pressure onto Nigma here with this Blink Deso Armlet instead of the Radiance. Like, he's probably going to solo kill the Grimstroke once again. Yep. And this is just a completely different build. It's not this, you know, do nothing Radiance rush after the Armlet where you're just farming the jungle and farming for the first 22 minutes. Like, now Ghost is top of the net worth, which with items that can farm, but also items that can fight. It really gives you the best of both worlds.
And push as well on top of that. Obviously the Desolator not quite as good as it used to be when paired together with the Leshrac, because Edict is pure damage instead of physical, but I mean, it just still provides so much to your team, especially when you can pop this army of skeletons. It means that the creep wave probably doesn't even die with this. It's just going to be the skeletons soaking up the majority of the damage. There we go. Backdoor still there. TP comes in from Shadow Fiend. Has to be careful.
Oh, in your dream. It's just looking to pop Ghost at the moment. Alacrity as well joining the fray. That's early usages of the BKB, but it can set up for Alacrity's Requiem straight on round 2. As they'll blow up Ghost, the rest of Spawn.496 can retreat away from the area, but it's a costly death nonetheless.
It is. I mean, I like the fact that they're going for that move, but you have to go for that move with your team around you, right? Like, you can't just make that easy engagement if the Snapfire's there laying out the Mortimer's Kisses on top of you, right? Like, you're not at this stage just yet where you're looking to heavy commit. I guess they did have the BKB, so that does give them that extra layer of safety that they were looking for. But, I don't know, it feels like maybe you get the save off afterwards to be able to...
Bon?
He can jump.
What are you doing up here, my guy? Just pull him down. Try and drag the kill into his hands. My guy's just being this Roman ward. Okay. The one nice thing as well for Radiant is that they definitely have ways to blow up Wraith King on the first life, and then second life you just charge up Requiem. Like,
Yep.
he did have Blink queued up. He's now going to the Silver's Edge. Just, oh, what a fissure. Mizu instantly cuts the initiation into half, but Red's still able to close the distance. They're going to look to try and jump Alacrity, but once the BKBs are forced out for the Radiant Cores, it's just going to force Dire back onto their side of the map as they can't stand their ground. But now that they've expired, they might try and find a different angle in. Jumped
so
in,
patient.
still another hook shot from Yokem as well on the mark as they've got so much control. It's so difficult for Dire to find an avenue into these fights.
Yeah, so patient. He was just standing there in this Shadow Amulet. No, he isn't AFKing in the mid lane. He was just making sure he was completely out of any kind of vision. They had no detection right now, so they didn't know exactly where he was, and it just left them in two minds. You know, they didn't know how deep they could go. They didn't know if they were going to get punished by the Earthshaker, and hell, even if they were on top of him, they had no detection. Absolutely nothing. The only thing is on the Ogre Magi, and he doesn't want to be that deep on the front lines. Haven't really seen the value out of this Veil of Discord either. I mean, I still think it's an insane item.
Good old Mizu just dropping a solo echo.
Why not?
You know what he does? He's just like, okay, in your dream, I'm gonna do all the damage. I'm gonna drop a big ultimate. I'm gonna just let you get the kill. You're my carry, Kami-sama all the way. Let me set you up for a beautiful game. He's top of the net worth now, almost desolated, completed, and the damage is gonna start to ramp up as well, considering you've got maxed out Presence of the Dark Lord, and almost level 20 as well for PA if she does want the armor corruption. So they're gonna have to keep tabs on their armor as the game goes on.
Mizu is even just gone for a little bit of a, I don't know if it was a kill attempt on Ohio on the top side. Very hard to kill an Ogre Magi. I actually just saw Ohio's build and he hasn't maxed out the Ignite. I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of that, especially if you go the Veil build. Like, it is nuts the amount of damage that you're able to do with Ignite.
Ohio's gonna run straight into the Grimstrike, and once again the Soulbind is making this team fight really difficult for the Night Stalker to propel himself around. Just a quick 1-2 punch as Nigma Galaxy again out of nowhere, they bring the numbers, and now this little skirmish victory can be transitioned into another objective.
Yeah, with Desolator freshly picked up as well. Didn't go for the Presence of the Dark Lord, affects towers, but I feel like the Shadow Rays damage, you're totally happy with that, especially prior to some of these BKBs coming online. It's only Night Stalker that's even remotely close to having his picked up. Unless Lesh has got it coming out. No, there we go. Lesh finished it on the Courier, so maybe that opens up a bit of a window. Wouldn't hate them seeing, wouldn't hate to see them wait for Ghost's level 3 ultimate as well.
It does feel like they've got issues right now with jumping some of the key components on Nigma Galaxy's lineup. Like, Earthshaker's doing so much with the minimal net worth that he had. Now his net worth is starting to grow a little bit, but Grimstroke Soulbinds his past couple of fights been important, and all eyes on once again if they can find the initiation, which they will. It rips apart again. DD, couple of crits, you love to see it. Leshak brought down to the grave. They'll kill off the Ogre too. I mean, it's just Nigma Galaxy Southeast Asia here in this mid-game.
And that was with the BKB freshly popped as well by the Leshrac. It was towards the end, just trying to get that tiny little bit of extra safety, but well, doesn't work out too well for them. And yeah, they can't make these sorts of movements unless Red has the BKB. That's why they can't go in onto the backlines. And well, would they have seen that he cancelled his TP? They might just look to continue pushing forward if they know that this Night Stalker isn't going to join. I mean, he's farming almost under vision right now. There we go, even scouting him out there. Rocket going to pass over his head.
Tower is under attack.
Actually looking to maybe even rotate back a little bit here. Yokem going on a little bit of a hunt. Of course, with the Rocket Flare and In Your Dream looking to back him up.
I like this though. They're like, yeah, maybe we can keep chasing down the Night Stalker, but that could leave our wards vulnerable that are all placed aggressively. So let's just jump in! Oh, Mizu and In Your Dream again! Just blows up the Leshak. He was there all of a sudden off your screen. 496 just have no map to play through once again. It just really feels like when Nigma Galaxy get any little bit of control, they use this to perfection, and when they have a lead, they can close it out.
There is a small window now, though, for 496. You know that they don't have Aegis. You know that the Echo Slam is on cooldown, and very, very close, actually, has finished up the BKB now on Red. He's going to actually reveal it in lane, so if they're really on point, they'll be able to scout this one out if they're just looking into his inventory. But maybe looking to try and keep this wave pushed in a little bit more. They wouldn't go for this dive, would they? They wouldn't. They wouldn't.
Level 20, so it's got that extra minus armor.
Oh,
Like they're doing the calculation. Let's see if they got their damage. Yes, sir, they do. In your dream, my god. Goal-like at the moment. We've got a hook shot as well, catching out Ghost. They're trying to pop the early use of the reincarnation, which they'll do so successfully. Now Alacrity can charge up the Requiem. Straight on top of the round 2. Respawn is in your dream. Back again into the fray. A triple for your Phantom Assassin. Try and give him the Rampage as well. Jalab on one. He can scurry out to safety, but the rest of the team not as fortunate as the Phantom Assassin. He's going headhunting right now.
And they're just going to continue pushing on forward. I feel like 496 are just going to wait until their Ancient falls. I don't think they called GG last game even after the fact, so it's it's a little rough, right? It feels like this is... There were a lot of good individual plays.
Oh,
it just feels like, oh, okay, that'll
this
do
could be the
something.
start. BKB's on cooldown. I love to see it. A little bit of creativity here for the boys on Dire.
Blur?
Still in your dream.
Oh, Mizu.
Jaunting down to the southern side. Mizu's ready and waiting in the wings, but in your dream's gonna turn. Oh, he's just so goddamn farm. He's not even gonna die. I mean, that's a 2 points in Ignite there for you. I think if he's got maxed out Ignite, he's dead.
There's no point in going for Veil from a purely like selfish damage point of view if you're gonna max Fire Blast. Like the damage ramp up is not that big. Ignites is huge. Like going from, oh god, quick mass, 180 damage to 400 damage from level 2 to level 4 is insane. And then you're buffing that up further with the Veil, plus you've also got the talent at level 10 to increase it further on top of that. It's just way too much to deal with, especially when you're able to, you know, cast it multiple times in a team fight with the use of that multicast.
And now he's even got the shard as well, more than likely. It's such an incredible upgrade here for Pia. I really feel like this is a big reason why we're starting to see the hero. Like shard, Aghanim's been buffed up a little bit over time. And there's
Is he going to use it?
Did he?
Maybe he gave it to Mizu. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It's, well, no, I give it back. Maybe he'll give it to Shadow Fiend. Because I feel like it's not an amazing Fan of Knives game. It's not amazing.
Definitely, but like the damage is ridiculous. It's a lot. 16% against the Night Stalker, even the supports as well. Like Snap's got 2200 health. I mean, Mortal Strike is great to get rid of.
Hold on. Okay, she's got the Ags. Yep. P8, use it.
Oh yeah, 100% now.
Nope, gives it over.
100%.
I
Alacrity's
feel
almost
like
got
just
Arcane
having
Blink.
2 Fan of Knives, like just the more abilities that you have, the bigger value that
you get from the blessing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another game where my 17,000 net worth lead after that tower falling. We did see some creativity though. Like Dire showed with that Aghanim's, which didn't even see getting queued up from the Snapfire. So yeah, maybe this could. It's not gonna catch them off guard again because they've already had at least one fight not go to their favor off the back of it. But it really feels like this is what you're hoping on. Maybe Night Stalker with Dark Ascension can swing on, get on top of the Grimstroke, and then maybe gobble
hasn't
up
happened yet. I'll say that
Yeah,
much.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
like that. That's what needs to happen. You need to get in onto the backlines. You need to find Mizu. He's being very patient, building this Shadow Amulet. Like, this is what I was talking about, right? If you can find the Earthshaker, you can disrupt their team fight. But if you just buy the Shadow Amulet, if you use it on yourself, it doesn't have that 7-second cooldown. It is a 0-second cooldown. So you could just move away from any kind of sentry wards that they've got and just stay completely out of vision until you want to take the team fight. So basically the only option that the Night Stalker has is to go for like a gem, and you're already dying so much and getting like 2-shot by a PA and a Shadow Fiend that it's such a risky play to make. So really enjoying this itemization coming through from Nigma Galaxy.
And we've seen the impact from the supports as well from game 1 and game 2. Like the early game fights were really put to a halt thanks to the soul buying. There was just no way Dire could maneuver in these fights. Like Lesh, Night Stalker, even a Wraith King really rely on not getting kited. Like you rely on these abilities just to stay on top of the enemy and get a quick pick off and then transition that into more. But we saw the Soulbind do so much work. We've seen Yokem as well with how it's just been kind of making these avenues into the fights that much more difficult with his hooks and the cogs as well. So, I mean, it's just been the supports to set up for a game where, you know, Kami-Sama's been able to go 16-1-6.
Yeah. I don't think he died last game as well. It was only 5 kills, but no deaths is the thing that you want, especially. I mean, they're going to force some TPs coming back here from Ghost because you're losing your base, my man.
One full set to barracks already claimed, and
I don't know how I feel about them just walking in. Yeah, they've got to spin it way
try with
onto
a gobble
the
up
back
straight on top of the Shadow Fiend. The burst is there. That's a nice start to the fight, but it's going to cost them the lives of the Leshrac as well, who does not have a buyback. A 4-on-4, not including the Aegis as well, but the chain lockdown's perfect. They've wasted the BKB on the first life, and now Dire, all they need to do is make sure they split up. Don't set up for the Echo Slam as Mizu. He's waiting the wings once again, trying to find the angle in, but the repositioning from In Your Dream is off to the outskirts and jumps back on. They'll blow up too with ease, and let's just see how they're able to reposition afterwards.
Mizu's just still waiting. He didn't even need to do anything in that team fight outside of, I believe, one Fisher. So, looking real good. Continuing to do so for Nigma Galaxy as they rotate towards the top side of the map. It's an exposed... Oh, maybe they would try and go in for the kill there onto Ghost, but yeah, there's no glyph remaining. Maybe now that Zillion's able to come back in, but yeah, you've just fallen way too far behind. They're going to go for one last attempt here. Another spin in, but he doesn't have the BKB.
Do it with flair.
See, when he finished up his previous item, and same sort of thing with the Yoga Magi going into the Ghost Scepter, I was kind of feeling that they needed a Aeon Disc instead, because it feels like whoever's dying first is just getting 100-0 burst.
He's just going to jump. Well, it does at the moment. Still, Ghost is trying to deal with the supports. They've cleaned off one, but now Mizu. He's finding the angle, drops the Echo once again onto 2 heroes. Oh, they're just cleaning up house now with 3 down. In Your Dream is looking to continue to stack up the kills. Already over 20 at the moment, our game 2.
Can't even
It's been set up so perfectly for an exceptional game as Nigma Galaxy.SEA. What a way to start Division 2 off with a clean 2-0 victory over Spawn.496.
That's exactly the way that you want to start things off, like you said. And yeah, not too much that you can fault about all that. You know, I'm always a little bit wary about any kind of Earthshaker picks because they spend a lot of their time doing nothing. But this time around, I've really enjoyed the way Mizu played, both, you know, making sure that he was constantly rotating, playing alongside his Shadow Fiend in particular, making sure that he's able to set up for those raises, those Requiem of Souls, and then even just the presence of mind to know to go for the Shadow Amulet, realizing that he's the main target that wants to get disrupted by Red's Night Stalker. But it was 2 games in a row, unfortunately for Red, that he just didn't have the impact that he would have wanted.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a lot of confidence in Nigma Galaxy.SEA as well. Like, I really wonder how their loss and poorish performance in BTS Pro Series, I think Season 9, was, you know, maybe, like, how they were affected by it. Because a lot of people heading into it definitely would have been expecting a better performance. I mean, they bombed out, if you want to say. They finished at 5th, 6th, so probably not the performance they were expecting, but coming in game 1 like that, you probably a series you're expecting to win, but it felt like really clean Dota. They got the draft they were looking for, the lanes went really well, and they were just able to execute. It felt like a lot of their movements, they were just fluid as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And it felt like it was in the laning stage for 496, but beyond that, it just seemed to collapse. You know, there wasn't one form of a game plan. There wasn't one voice giving them the clear instructions of what they needed to do as a team. So, I mean, it's a good opponent in Nigma Galaxy. Don't get me wrong, but they're going to seriously want to have a look at how they can try and recoup from this, because, you know, the pieces are there. It's just putting them together to complete the full jigsaw that seems like their issue for now. But it's just day one of Division 2, so plenty of opportunities left for that.
Only day one. Only day one. We got a lot of weeks left remaining, and still, of course, it's overall beautiful performance for them to be able to kick things off. Now, I have a special guest joining us.
Is he here?
He's not here just yet. There is a little giveaway, as in like it's not obvious, and giveaway is probably the wrong way to put it. But if you're potentially looking somewhere on screen, it might hint at who might be joining us here. So hopefully I can drag him in. Nice. Okay, beautiful. In your dream, congratulations on a incredible series victory.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I just want to kick things off and just overall ask how the boys are feeling, how the mentality is heading into the winter tour. After kind of the performance on Pro Series, was there anything that you guys did, maybe just had to sit down, a team talk to kind of pick up maybe some mentality heading into this season?
Yeah, we feel confident about this DPC and also about our past tournaments that we are playing. The BTS, it's not went well, but overall we prepared our mentality. We practice a lot, and then we're here. I don't know what to say really.
Yeah, no, it was a good performance overall. You've been streaming a lot as well, making sure to entertain the viewers. I want to go back to that game number one. Was Alacrity always kind of wanting that Meepo to come through? Because not too often that we see you play the Kunkka from the safe lane. So yeah, was that something that was just kind of an adaptation to 496's draft, or was it always something that you were kind of thinking about maybe dropping in for them?
I think we just pick our most comfortable heroes at the game. Even at the drafting phase, we keep talking like, do you really want to play this or what? What Alacrity feels it's good, then we just go. It's not like we're. Oh, actually, also we adapt to the what enemy draft also. So we just
Yeah, there's a little bit of that draft adaptation, but also, we saw very similar openers as well from your team. The Clockwork seems like it's something that you feel can work with a number of different strategies, both to protect the Snapfire as well as to, punish it if it's being played on the enemy team. So, yeah, I thought it was a really good performance overall. You had such a good performance there on the PA. What's kind of going through your head? Are you a loud person when you're in game, when you're going 23-1? Are you letting your teammates know that you're having a good time?
I do actually. Also, it's because my teammate also it's good at creating space for me. Yeah, that's why I can do that.
Awesome.
Are you the loudest on the team when you're having fun, or who's kind of up there with you in regards to some of the other players?
Sorry, what?
Are you like
loud?
the most like energetic on the team, or is there any other players in there that like to get pretty loud as well when they're ahead?
It's most likely Mizu. Yeah. He's super loud.
Seems like him. Well, what's he saying? Like, I'm sitting in Shadow Amulet. I'm invisible. I'm not doing anything. Is that what he's talking about? Or because we really liked his Shaker play, but he spent a lot of, at least the later stages of that game, just sitting invisible, waiting for his moment.
Yeah, he always liked to do his own things. He has some idea, and then he shared it to the team. Like, I want to do this, and then we just go. He just like,
Cool.
I don't know, found in the team. I think like to make a jokes around.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a bit of a clown for sure, but it seems like there is a lot of trust between you and your teammates, and it was a really good performance first up. So that's all from me. Best of luck for the remainder of the Division 2, and hopefully we get to see you in one of those top 2 spots, because I'd love to see you in Division 1 next season.
Yep, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Any shout outs real quick before we say goodbye? Anyone you say thank you to?
Wish us luck until we get to upper division. Thank you.
And watch your stream as well.
And watch the stream as well.
Yeah, very good.
Oops.
All right, thank you very much, mate, for joining us, and congratulations once again. A beautiful way to kick off the season. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. See ya.
All right, well, Danog, we're first day done and dusted. What a quick 2-0 we had. Nigma Galaxy C definitely looking like the team we were expecting to come into this winter tour without a doubt. I mean, there's going to be some tough opponents to match up against them. I mean, you know, we've been putting Polaris neck and neck with them, Talon as well in one of the open qualifiers, but there's some dark horses that we could see. We were both impressed with Ragdoll in their open qualifier, and it does feel like still Southeast Asia Division 1, Division 2, the quality of games are just so goddamn close, and it really does feel like anyone can take a map. I know saying that now, you take it with a little bit of grain of salt, considering someone just got 2-0'd, but it definitely feels like at least it's nice. It's showing that this team is have come to play. They've started off the season well, and looking to see how they can continue on.
Yeah, and it wasn't like 496. I thought they had good drafts as well, right? So there is certainly a lot to work with. That plus the laning stage, I thought went quite well for them in both games. It's just beyond that. I think they just need to find someone to play around that's that key voice. And well, it's going to be a while until we see Nigma Galaxy again. I think it's going to be mid next week, actually, the next time that we see them play. For 496, their next game is coming later this week. But the next Division 2 games are being played in, I want to say 2 days' time.
2 days, yeah. On December 1st, so a little bit different for other people's time zone. But yeah, we got Ragdoll taking on Army Geniuses here. So that's going to be exciting. One of the open qualifier teams taking on the team with a bit of a newish roster. We got to see them through the Pro Series, and we liked their games a lot. I know they, when Mike and John were casting them, they didn't do as well when they were casting for them, but we were very impressed with when we got to watch Army Geniuses. So that feels like it's going to be a pretty exciting game to watch. But like you said, yeah, that should be in 2 days' time.
They're just that bad luck charm, you know. The Army Geniuses, they need us. They need the dual Aussies in order to really let their mojo shine. So yep, that's going to be 1 o'clock Singapore time in on December 1st, and that's actually leading into the 2 Division 1 games as well. So there's going to be 3 series of SEA Dota to watch in a couple of days' time. So make sure you're following the channel and make sure you don't miss it. By the way, Ragdoll as well as Interactive Philippines just recently made their Twitter pages, and they are very heavily underfollowed right now. I think it's only the double digits. So I know they've been putting in a lot of effort to create some of that content there. So if you're a fan of SEA Dota, you want to give them a bit of support, just go on Twitter, search for their accounts, Ragdoll and Interactive Philippines, and give them a follow.
Well, we'll see you guys all back here on Wednesday, December 1st for some more DPC Southeast Asian Division 2 Winter Tour presented by Beyond the Summit.